George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984. The novel depicts a society ruled by a totalitarian regime led by Big Brother. The government exercises complete control over every aspect of citizens' lives, suppressing the individuality and independent thought. Now, we are living in a surveillance society where this concept of constant surveillance is a central theme. The government uses advanced technology to monitor citizens, creating a pervasive atmosphere of fear and mistrust. The government in 1984 practices newspeak to control and manipulate language. Seems similar to what's happening right now today. Altering historical records and manipulating facts to maintain its authority. We know that there's so many things that have come out that we don't even know if it's true anymore. Like the moon landing. The idea of doublethink highlights the ability to hold two contradictory beliefs simultaneously. Then we have the individual and collective identity. The novel explores the struggle between individualism and conformity. Who doesn't conform gets annihilated. The individual is being pushed out in this society. We see that not just in government, but in our daily lives. Then we have the protagonist, Winston Smith, who rebels against the conformity demanded by the state, seeking personal freedom and truth. Thought control. The government uses psychology or psychological manipulation and propaganda. This is in my area. I say that because media and PR go hand in hand. Propaganda. Control the thoughts and beliefs of its citizens. Orwell portrays the dangers of suppressing dissenting opinions and independent thinking.
Remember writing in your diary, freedom is the freedom to say 2 + 2 = 4.
Yes.
How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?
4.
And if the party says there are not 4, but 5, then how many?
5.
Power and corruption. The narrative delves into the corrupting influence of absolute power. Who wants absolute power? That's what we got to be asking ourselves. The ruling party exploits and abuses its authority to maintain its control, leading to a society devoid of morality and justice. Where are we seeing that right now, right? Memory and history, the manipulation of historical records, and the concept that who controls the past controls the future. This is all from this book. And all of this sounds eerily familiar to what a lot of us are waking up and seeing today. Who controls the present controls the past, illustrates the importance of controlling information to shape public perception. Repression, emotional repression. The society depicted in 1984 suppresses emotions, particularly love and intimacy. Depression, let's just look at how much mental illness has gone up since this book. Brand loyalty, when a consumer repeatedly buys a particular brand of product and is reluctant to switch to another brand. Fatalism and hope. Despite the bleak and oppressive setting, the novel explores the human capacity for resistance and hope. So hope is killed. They don't want you to have hope for anything. Winston's rebellion against the party, even though it seems futile, reflects a desire for individual agency and a belief in the possibility of change. Obviously, the warning against authoritarianism. 1984 served as a cautionary tale. We are in that era right now, guys. Orwell didn't say this stuff just to say it. He said it to help us stop these things before they happen. Right now, there's no pushback. We have barely any autonomy left. Once they take your pew-pews, that's the end of it. It's going to bring me to the part 2 of this video. Recent Oxfam International report titled Time to Care revealed that the world's 2,153 billionaires in the world possess more wealth than 4.6 billion people, emphasizing the significance of global inequality. We have such global inequality. There's not enough commitment from our governments to fix these issues. We see this wealth gap disproportionately affects women. with the 22 richest men possessing more wealth than all the women in Africa. The report emphasized the substantial contribution of women's unpaid care work valued at 10.8 trillion annually. Are humans going to be obsolete? Are we going to run ourselves into basically being useless and not having any need or desire to work? These are real questions that I ask. I ask myself every day when I see videos and articles coming out talking about AI, artificial intelligence. Now, I know many of us have read 1984. We've read many books in the past prompting us about all the dangers of artificial intelligence as well as the future. And we've seen it in movies like Blade Runner. We've seen it in movies like Ex Machina, Megan, that came out in 2022. We've seen it in even movies in the past, like The Terminator, and we've been shown these things in movies. So the question is, will we be replaced by AI, or will we even be needed to do any of the work in the near future? I say these things because time after time, we all recognize that the truth is stranger than fiction. The media is sometimes used by the higher ups to help ready us, guide us, and to help desensitize us to some of the things that they're intending to do. So the question is, what are humans going to do? Because as we can see, there is going to be a huge disparity, as it has already shown through the economics of the United States, as well as many other countries, that there is a huge gap between the rich and the poor. And that gap is only going to get even bigger with the introduction of AI in our spaces, use of medical, law, all these other things. Do we want to stop this, or do we want to continue with this? Because if you ask the actors that went on strike this past summer, they're not too happy with the idea of being replaced by AI. And I don't think you should be either. We've seen these shifts happen gradually over time, and there's been some people that do not want to switch, but how many of us are openly embracing this? And that's a question we really have to ask ourselves. When you have these very rich people, and when I say rich, I'm talking about people that have been running things in the background for decades. When they say that they're doing X, Y, and Z, I think it's time for your ears to perk up. They're not going to stop because the Peaslee peasants at the bottom decide we don't want AI. You think Amazon's going to say, let me keep paying these drivers that need bathroom breaks and they need to take pauses and family issues? They're not going to stop. They're going to continue with what they have planned, whether you like it or not. And we have to ask these questions because when is enough money enough? Billionaires fared well during the pandemic. Of course they did. Yet, we command resources from a lot of other countries. 8 men own the same amount of the wealth as the world's poorest 3.6 billion people. That is insanity. These are the questions we really should be asking. Why are these billionaires not paying their fair share? What it should tell you is that these people are doing this for themselves. Think about it this way. It's because they don't want you to call out of your job. They don't want you to ask for more money. They want to keep all that wealth for themselves. The best way to do this is to have robots do the jobs for them, as well as make robot armies that will then be able to take out anybody who goes against what their narrative is or what they want to have told about themselves. I've seen this just in the use of ChatGPT. If you try to type in any of these people's names, it won't say anything negative about them. It will only paint them in a positive light. So think about that, right? It's mainly for the purpose of keeping these people propped up as the top billionaires of the world and suppressing and enslaving the rest of humanity. This goes along with the story of the Congo. This goes along with what's happening in Israel versus Palestine, and basically any civil or any kind of unrest in the world where there's humanitarian crisis. These people don't care about you.